Alright guys, so if you're new to the channel, my name is Jorge, and here we like to focus on a lot of performance cars and DIY things that you can do in your own garage, as well as show you guys some awesome performance cars, events and things like that, and sprinkle in a few car reviews here and there. But if you guys know, if you don't, this is my 2019 Camaro SS, and in the last video we actually went ahead and installed long tube headers on our car, and we did 1 7/8 speed engineering headers with their full X-pipe section all the way to the stock NPP exhaust. Now we want to get rid of that check engine light that you get when you remove your cat, so I had Pat G from Victoria dial me up and email tune. I bought HP tuners, so I was able to send him the stock file, and he went ahead and did his magic and adjusted it so that we can eliminate any of those check engine light codes and also optimize the performance of the car with the new headers. Alright guys, now before we get started with the rest of this video, I want to give a huge shout out to all you guys that have subscribed and all you guys that have been supporting me along the way. It's been an amazing almost a year now since I started doing YouTube videos. Started back in August, and we finally reached 1,000 subscribers, and I can't thank you guys so much. Thank you guys for supporting me, and for those that watch these videos, you know, hopefully you guys will enjoy them and can subscribe as well to see all the future things that we have in plan. And to celebrate that, I actually had a shirt made for myself and for my wife, and it actually has my logo with my initials up here on the top, and then on the back it actually has the Camaro with Jorge's Vlogs. So this is really awesome. Just wanted to, again, can't thank you guys enough for subscribing and actually watching my videos, and hopefully you guys enjoy this one and it becomes informative, just like my goal is with every other video. So let's get back to the video. Now, what you guys see before me is something that you guys are going to need if you're going to want to really get the most out of your car from doing remote email tuning, and that is, of course, you're going to need some gauges to monitor a few things. Specifically, you want to be able to monitor your wide open throttle or wideband air and fuel ratio. So the best option for you if you are remote tuning or email tuning the way that I am is to get the AEM X series OBD2 wideband, which basically means that this wideband can actually plug in through your OBD2 port and feed data directly to the HP tuners for data logging. So your data logs can now include wideband data while you're on the street or anything like that. You don't have to go to a dyno or any of those things. So if you're trying to do email tuning, definitely highly recommend this. The second gauge that I've gotten is actually one for future-proofing this, and that is this Aeroforce digital gauge. And this Aeroforce digital gauge can also plugs into your OBD2 port and basically can read out any information that the car is reading from any sensors. You can do oil pressure, fuel pressure, air intake temps, manifold pressure, boost, any of that stuff you can record through this. And this is actually going to be used for when I do E85, because it can also read the E85 content. So I've gone ahead and gotten this, and of course we've got the pod that this is going to go with, and this is the pod that we're going to be using. It's a dual AC vent pod, and let me show you guys how that is going to go. Alright guys, so you see this little vent here? Well, that is going to get replaced by this pod here, and it basically kind of hugs right along the line of this hump here, and it will be right in the line of sight, right where we need it to be to show us the critical information that we want from either our Aeroforce or our wideband gauge. To power this thing up, we're going to do it very properly. Online, some forums, some people actually go under the steering wheel and tee into one of the wires going into the BCM. I don't want to do that, so I'm going to be looking at this fuse box here and trying to find a fuse that is switched 12 volt and run an add a fuse kit, which I'll show you guys, and that I'll have run alongside here and try to route it through the back. Alright guys, so check it out. I have here the gauge pod sitted back with the wires run through. One thing that you will note is that you do have to take this panel off, and then you have to pull on this panel. And I'm gonna pull this out right now because you actually have some putty that comes included to seal off around the entry of these cables so that the defrosting doesn't go into the heat of the back of the sensors. And I'm gonna show you guys right now. I did have to use a 1/2" drill bit to cut a hole through the defroster so that I could run the wires up under here. I've got them here, and they'll actually go through the defroster and up in here. So I've got to use this putty to seal up the gauge entryway. Alrighty guys, it's the next morning and have already done the wiring for that. So as you can see here in our fuse box, I actually added the fuse with the 5 amps, and it is on F42, which is a 10 amp for the AC unit, and that is a switched 12 volt. I've got it running here to the side. I'm a little concerned about this, but the shielding should be right. But then I've got it all covered and routed with some zip ties through the back, and it's going to be going into the hole through the firewall. So that's how that's wired up. And then let me just bring this car down. I was actually down here installing the wideband O2 sensor here and getting it all zip tied up. So that's all ready to go. Now here we still have some slack and some extra cable that we need to kind of figure out what we're going to do. Probably run it back into the firewall so that it gets nice and clean. Now if we go inside I still have a wiring nest, but I've already ran the power, which is this red one, and the ground, which is grounded to a bolt right next to the hood latch. Everything should be connected, and I should be able to test this out and see this actually working and see everything else working properly. Just got to plug this in. I'm gonna test to see if it'll work with the pass-through in there. So let's go ahead and plug that in and let's see what this does. So gonna go ahead and start the car. All right, so looks like everything's working properly. We've got our intake temp, trans temp, and you can change all these out. And now we just got to hope that the sensor for the wideband works properly. There you go. So it looks like it's working just fine right now. So that's actually really good. We still got our check engine light. We need to upload the tune. And now that I know that this is working, we can get ready to do the tune and eliminate all the check engine lights and open some data logs. Alright, so we're writing the tune, and it just finished doing the engine computer tune, and now it's running the C304A. This is basically the one that controls the active valves for the when it goes to 4-cylinder mode, the AFM valves. And we need to tune this so that you don't get a check engine light for those valves not working properly. So you got to make sure that you also get that done. So looks like the write's completed. We can go ahead and turn the car off, close this. Now we're ready to go on a data log. So I'm gonna go ahead and put you guys on the windscreen thing, and let's turn this thing on and go for a little ride. Alright guys, so we are recording, doing a data log so that we can send it back to our tuner, who's going to be able to use that log to basically go through and modify and calibrate and optimize the tune. So right now we're in tour mode, got the windows down, sounds pretty good, and I don't got a check engine light anymore. So let's see how it sounds when you go into track. You definitely hear a very distinct audible sound. So let's go for a little drive, see what you guys think of this thing. It is very loud in track mode. So in tour mode, valves are completely closed. We're in track now, so holy shit, that is loud. This mount even moved. My camera mount even like flew back. That's crazy. This is very loud. With the windows up. It pops a lot. In third gear from about 4,000 at 55. Guys, we are back home, and man, I don't know if you guys heard it well over through the microphone here on the inside, but this thing just screams, and boy does it get up and go. Can't wait to get the revised tune, and hopefully in the next video we'll be back in the dyno or at the track to see how much these headers and tune really improve this car. But anyways guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know it was a lot of cuts in and out. That's part of what happens when you do a DIY. Sometimes you forget things or you get the wrong parts, and I had to go back and forth grabbing things and doing all that. If you guys have any questions, just don't hesitate to comment down below and do anything like that. I will gladly try to answer as best as I can anything if you guys have questions on the install for the gauges or things like that. But for now guys, I've got everything taken care of. It's done, and now we're just ready for the revised tune and take it to the track and the dyno. So I'll see you guys in the next one. If you like this video, hit the thumbs up button. Make sure you're subscribed if you're not, because there's a lot of awesome content coming your way. And thanks again for 1,000 subscribers. I'll see you guys in the next one.